Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to rank all the defensive badges in NBA 2K24 in tiers. So, we are going to get straight into this video, but I do want to let you guys know first and foremost, obviously we don't have badge budgeting system anymore. We don't have to worry about is it in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 anymore or anything like that. We don't have to worry about the spending of it and how expensive it is toward your build in terms of the badge points you can use, anything like that. It's not like that anymore, obviously, so I'm just talking about is the badge good, is the badge bad. Simple as that. So, we're here to get straight into that. If you guys enjoy, feel free to drop a like, sub if you need to turn on noties, all that good stuff, and like always, try to win to 2,000 likes. So, let's just go ahead and start off. We're going to go from bottom to top, and the way I have them sorted, it's not in any specific order or anything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and start with Workhorse. We're going to put this in the C tier. Workhorse, in my opinion, I haven't seen it really stand out like I have in maybe years past in some parts of the game. I feel like this badge has more so just been there, I guess. Like, I don't feel like I've seen loose balls where I'm like, oh my god, bro's Workhorse is going crazy right there. And I also want to say, me and Kitchen and a couple of the other people I've played with are under the suspicion that Workhorse might not work for offense anymore. That hasn't been fully tested. That's at least just my suspicion with it as far as what I've seen with the badge. And to me, I've forgot that it's even in the game for the most part in some instances. So I have it in the C tier. It's not a terrible badge by any means. It's just I don't feel like it's stood out and been super crazy or anything like that. So next up, we have Pogo Stick. This is also going to be in the C tier. Pogo Stick, in my impression, has been a little bit underpowered. It doesn't feel very crazy. I will say jump bumps are terrible in this game, and what I mean by that is if you're underneath the basket and you jump at somebody, it's quite possible you might bump them out of bounds with it. Like, it might not even be a foul. I think it's really bad. Like, I think they need to be automatic fouls in my opinion, or I don't know, that or just take it out of the game entirely, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that mechanic is terrible. And it does speak to the power of Pogo Stick in a way, because if you can just spam jumps over and over again, you might just be bound to end up bumping someone out of bounds or bump them out of the you know, little mash they're gonna be doing and stuff like that. And yeah, I think the likelihood is that if they pump fake on it, then you will get called for the foul on the jump, and that is also something that maybe talks of not running Pogo, or, you know, again, it's not like you get to run or don't run the badge, but you get what I'm saying. Like, the power of Pogo is a little bit limited by the fact that they can just kind of pump fake you into those jumps as well. But either way, all those mechanics feel super trash. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Simple as that. And Pogo, again, doesn't feel super overpowered in terms of giving you multiple jumps in 1 or 2 different frames or anything like that, or just to help you get a lot of jumps for the sake of mashing. And not to mention, I don't think you need to jump on mash in this year's game in general, like for close shots or for, like, you know, standing dunks, anything like that. I guess standing dunk meter is a different story. Jumping definitely helps you for sure in terms of defending that, but for the most part, you're not going to get pump faked over and over again and have to bite on any of that stuff. Standing layups and close shots are just really bad in this game. So not only do you not really need to run Pogo as far as, like, you know, doing this and activating it a ton or anything like that, but it just doesn't feel like it's quite needed, in my opinion. Anyway, into the next badge, we have ankle braces. So I was going to debatably put this in the B tier because low-key, it does its job pretty well. And you know what? That should be what the badge tier list is based off of as far as the merit, but also at the same time, we got to talk about, is it like super crazy helpful or not? And ankle braces is cool and all. Like, really all I can say is it resists that sharp take BS a lot, where when people get that sharp take on and for whatever reason they decided to tie ankle breakers into sharp take. I know it's supposed to be shot creator, right? But like, that should be on ankle breaking shots, bro, not like dudes doing snatchbacks and just breaking you just because they have sharp take. That should have been play take 100% in my opinion. But anyway, ankle braces does resist that type of stuff very well, I must say. So this is like top of the C tier. Consider this the best C tier badge we have in this video because it's quite good at stopping what it's supposed to stop 100%. So that is my opinion on that. And speaking of a badge that's actually related to that in terms of being really good at stopping what it's meant to stop, we have off-ball pest coming in the B tier. This is surprising, very crazy for me to be putting something like off-ball pest so high in a tier list video. And you guys, if you've watched the channel, you've never seen me put something like off-ball pest in a B tier for that matter, because it's never been worth putting your badge points on or anything like that. This year though, it feels so unbelievably overpowered. And don't go talking about like, oh well, Laker, it's been this good, you just chose not to run it in the past. Nah, man, this is unbelievable how well you can just off-ball nudge people and completely kick them out of their cut animations and stuff like that. Now, that's another thing too, as far as you'll see with my tier list videos when we talk about stuff like this, I'm going to be putting badges that are related to stopping very, very overpowered and meta things even higher than they maybe deserve to be. And off-ball pest in terms of stopping cuts, because cuts have been insanely overpowered in this game because of how bad lanes are. off-ball pest is very necessary in terms of whether you're maybe a back end who can just completely like destroy people on pick and rolls that just stop you from running. I've seen it myself as a pick and roller. It's pretty crazy. Same with off-ball like cutters from the corner. If you're a point guard that has to really protect themselves on the cut, you could even get pass interference type stuff like in football where you just completely nudge the guy out of his animation while the pass is coming in, and the pass goes flying past him, doesn't get completed to anybody, and it's just because you completely knocked him out of the way. So off-ball pest is going to be coming in the B tier. I think it's a very respected badge, and generally you can get this on a pretty decent level depending on your perimeter defense. So this is definitely a decent one. Also, if you guys didn't know, I'm pairing up with the NBA 2K Lab this year, so you can use code Laker for 20% off at checkout at their website. That's NBA2KLab.com. On this website is all types of really good statistical jump shot information. You can also test the jumpers on their website too. Plug the controller straight into your phone or to your PC. You can get early, green, late. It'll tell you where you need to adjust on that jump shot, or if you don't know what jumper you want to run, you just go to their jump shot recommender. You punch in your height, the jump shot rating that you're working with, and then based on the milliseconds of timing that you get, it'll recommend you a jump shot. So again, if you want to use code Laker for 20% off at checkout, that's NBA2KLab.com. Appreciate you guys, and we'll get back to the video. Anyway, moving along. We have post lockdown. This to me is more of a C tier because it's just like, I don't know. All it's really good for is twos, in my opinion. Maybe for Pro-Am, obviously people are doing drop steps sometimes or post spins sometimes here and there. Same with Rec Center, but I don't know, man. For the most part, I just don't feel like it's needed very much. I feel like this game, as much as post scores really were taking it over to an extent, I think it's not as quite as overpowered as we thought it would be. And they did nerf them with the post hooks and stuff like that too. So in my opinion, post lock, obviously all it's good for stopping is going to be post spins, drop steps, stuff like that, right? So it allows you to play post scores in a different way where you can be up on them tighter. We all know how this has been in every single year of playing 2K, right? So to me, post lockdown's always just been kind of a mid badge. It's not something that in years past you would want to spend your badge points on, but in this year, you can obviously have it on any build. But I promise you, if you look at your badge progress on this badge, it's probably one of the lower badges that you have if you have good interior defense. And for the reason of not many people run post scoring related moves. And for that matter, most post scores I've seen in this game are more like post fade, post hop, kind of post hook type vibe where it's not quite as interior with it because standing layups are pretty bad in my opinion, you know, so they kind of have to finesse their way to the baskets through those post spins and drop steps, which, you know, inherently I guess you could say speaks to post lockdown being valuable in a way. But again, if you look at your badge progress on it compared to every other badge, if you're an inside big man or an outside big man who has good interior defense, I promise you this thing's sitting at probably silver, maybe even bronze, because nobody does this stuff. So anyway, we have it in the C tier because it's good enough at stopping what it's supposed to stop, but not many people run things related to it, so it's not a big deal. Now, speaking of things people run that are very related to it, but it's not that great of a badge, we have Pick Dodger. So it still does what you want it to do, and I gotta say, like, for the people that are on pure lock builds that have this on the Golden Hall of Fame level, they can definitely like do their thing as far as maneuvering through the screens, but it's not super unstoppable in my opinion. Like if you have a good level of brick wall, you will hit people with screens regardless of what they have the Pick Dodger on. But with how meta this game's pick and roll is and how constantly you're going to be running through screens if you're a small lockdown build, you need this badge if you're going to be a small lock. Now, to be fair, it's very, very doable. Like size is very common in this game between being above, I would say 6'8" for most people. Like I've seen people be able to handle the ball on 70 ball handle, and you know, with 6'8" you can do it with 81 or 85 ball handle, and it looks really good. So most people are able to switch and play sides on defense in this game. I will say the sides mechanics feel very bad though. Like you really get late reactions in terms of like trying to pass off to a defender where you're passing off the point guard to one guy and now you're ready to pick up the center, but you move super slow moving to that center. So sometimes fighting through screens is really important, and Pick Dodger can really come in clutch there. And same goes for, obviously, like I said, lockdowns out there. Pure locks 6'7" and below, or even 6'8" and below in some situations. Pick Dodger can be extremely important. So moving along to the next one, we got 94 feet. 94 feet will also be coming in the B tier. This is pretty much just long distance clamps, and for that matter, let's go ahead and just put clamps in the tier that it belongs in as well. I know it's crazy to see, right? We like seeing clamps in the B tier with the same level of off-ball pest. Like, what am I doing? Putting clamps in 94 feet in the same tier as off-ball pest. But again, that's more to the power of off-ball pest, and I don't know, man. Clamps just doesn't feel very important in this game. It just feels like we'll talk about one of these things that are, you know, hint, hint, a movable enforcer toward the top over here. But Clamps doesn't feel like it's super important. To me, this stops blow-by mechanics, aka I'm talking about the badge, like blow-by being a badge. When I play on a build that doesn't have clamps, I can feel the blow-bys quite a bit more. But honestly, like in terms of getting stonewall animations and absolutely just completely stopping someone in their tracks, Immovable Enforcer is that badge, and Clamps is not. So to me, Clamps belongs in the B tier, as much as it hurts me to say, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty good as far as playing defense on builds that are even still 6'10 and above. Now, that does kind of suck for the sake of not being able to get steals very much, because obviously, you know, a lot of these steal-related badges we're going to be having pretty high as well. But 94 feet, this is just full court Clamps. It's literally like Clamps behind half court. It's as simple as that. It's a doable badge. If you play 3s, if you play 5s, it's definitely like usable. If you play 1s and 2s, you might as well not even have it, obviously, you know. So yeah, as far as half-court defense, you can definitely play solid half-court defense on 2v2 or 1v1 without like a 6'8 and below build, because in my opinion, things like, as I mentioned, you know, Immovable Enforcer can definitely carry, and then having things like Chasedown and maybe Anchor as far as like allowing you to play more aggressive on-ball defense and play for recoveries and like stops on the paint, it's definitely doable. But anyway, moving along, we have Right Stick Ripper. So this is also going to be a B tier. I know I did say a lot of the steal-related badges we're going to have pretty high, but this one is really in a weird way. Now, I will say it actually might be a pretty effective badge, but it doesn't give those crazy suction plucks that just going for an X button glove steal will do. To me, this one feels very like bump stealish, and also very odd mechanics, because you have to flick left on your right stick to get a animation with your, like in your camera, it's on your right hand, but really it's your player's left hand. But you're looking at the camera facing your player's face rather than like, you know, being first person locked. So it's really weird. I don't like that. I feel like it should be more like, you know, camera relative, where if I'm flicking left on my left stick, I want the left visual hand of like what's on my screen flicking for that steal. I don't know. It feels very like, I don't know, just bad to do, but at the same time, it's at least doable. And right stick lanes, they look solid, but like, again, that doesn't even play into Right Stick Ripper at all. So I don't know. The badge is pretty B tier to me, if you ask me. You could even maybe argue it's C tier, but the power of it is like maybe on the same level of B. To be fair, I'm not as like knowledgeable of this one, because I play with a lot of 60 steal or below builds in this game, because I just don't like the idea of like playing passing lanes in this game. And then same with, I've obviously been on more big man related builds, and steal is extremely expensive too. So a lot of reasons why I haven't had a high steal rating build for my own personal like playstyle. But what I've seen of my teammates and the way that the right stick mechanics work, I don't like the badge like crazy, but it's still a B tier. It's like bottom of the B tier to me though. It really could arguably be, you know, in the C tier as well. So anyway, moving along to the next badge, we have Brick Wall. Brick Wall debatably could be an S tier. Pick and roll is elite in this game, and it's a lot due to Brick Wall and the amazing screens you get with them. And not to mention just obviously like it supports guard movement really well. The builder itself supports pick and roll too, where obviously it's a little bit harder to be a do-it-all, whether it's as the point guard or the big man. So to pick roles and be more of an inside big that has really good Brick Wall pairing with an outside point guard, if you guys have good meshing play styles together and you know you play well together, the Brick Wall and just pick and roll offense in general is very dominant in this game. You've seen a lot of people, I'm sure, if you've played the game, running screens, and you maybe even see in the rec center a lot of inside bigs as well. Now, I highly encourage you point guards, become more comfortable running the pick and roll game. You're going to be a lot more outside oriented. You're probably going to be able to get dunks if the dude steps really high on your screens, but you can only do that by forcing them to respect your shot. So you got to be really comfortable running these screens and like shooting off them into the mid-range and get more crafty with your game and stuff too, obviously. If you are someone that sits and plays ISO all the way and you're tried and true to it, you know, like you're true blue to the ISO and you don't want to change your game just because screens are meta, more power to you. I respect that entirely. But obviously, you know, you've played against stuff like this and you know Brick Wall is looking really good. So anyway, into the next badge, we have Anchor going into A tier as well. Not really an S tier badge in my opinion. Like I've seen even Silver Anchor be able to really do it to people, and I honestly think that 87 block, as we mentioned in the best value rating for every attribute in 2K24 video, 87 block and Silver Anchor is looking really good. Pair that with the ability to even still get gold chase down, and we'll talk about that badge in just a second as well. But yeah, I think Silver Anchor can really do it to people. Gold is really good. I've never even seen Hall of Fame because 99 block is way too expensive in this game, so I have no experience of that so far, or even against it for that matter, at least to my knowledge. But yeah, I mean, Anchor's still a very good badge. You know, I will say we're in a very weird state in this game where driving dunks and dunk meter is looking bad. So you can almost even get away with running interior defense on bronze Anchor, if you ask me, in this game. And I've even seen small guards with like 50-something interior D like absolutely do it to people when it comes to them mashing down low with a close shot. I mean, everything to do with paint offense is pretty bad in this game besides standing dunk meter, in my opinion. So driving, oh, actually I lied. Driving layups are insanely good for that matter too. I would even maybe say like Anchor is more for like stopping stuff like that too. Like you could better contest on it, but I don't know. For the most part, if someone shoots a floater over your head and they can time it, bro, it's looking tough. Like even Hall of Fame Anchor 99 block. Like if they get that floater off before you're in that vicinity in the range of them, it's not doing anything, to be real with you. But either way, it's still a very good badge. It's going to stop mashing and interior, you know, like defensive related things. Simple as that. And Anchor always have been good. And that's how it always will be. I mean, like the day Anchor belongs in the B tier or C tier, we're looking at a very weird game. And I don't know how much weirder it could get than this because paint offense is looking really weird. So anyway, moving along. All right, so Challenger, this is a little bit of a weird one. I gotta say, I think it's like bottom of the A tier. Like, don't think I'm putting this on the same level as Anchor and Brick Wall. It's just that it doesn't belong on the same level of like off-ball pest, clamps, and 94 feet. Like, I will much prefer having Challenger over clamps on any build 100%. And obviously, again, you know, if you get one, you get the other because of your prim defense being high enough. So I'm not trying to say like the badge budgeting points or anything like that. But Challenger just feels like it does get you insanely good contests in this game if you're playing good perimeter defense, but there's nothing that's going to save you from playing bad prim D. If you jump late at somebody, you're generally just not going to get a contest. If you're underneath them and they shoot a shot that you happen to not put your hand up on, it's very possible for it to just be an open for a lot of times in the game. So ghost contests, they feel really weird because sometimes you can be right up on them and you'll get a 30. Sometimes you can be right up on them and you'll get an open because you didn't put your hand up. But for the most part, Challenger does feel extremely valuable. Obviously, you know, like I said, I've played on-ball defense on a 7-footer with no Challenger in this game and felt pretty good, but it's mainly because people are having a very hard time getting open in this game with the way that ball movement is and just like, you know, ball handler movement, I should say. But either way, I know I'm probably gassing up Challenger a little bit, putting it in the A tier. It definitely could say to belong in the B. So just consider it that I'm putting it as the worst A tier badge that we have on this list. So anyway, moving along. For fast feet, we're also putting this in the A tier. This is a good A tier badge. Like I gotta show it a lot of love. I love the way it makes you move as a perimeter defender. When I've played on my 6'8" that has this on even silver, I feel extremely fast. I don't even want to imagine what you could look like on a Hall of Fame or a gold for that matter. And the gold ones are looking really good too, as far as how quickly they can move and how quick you can kind of just, you know, shift your feet, cut them off really well, and like reposition yourself for that LT defense and playing, you know, just slides like that. So fast feet looking really good. It's a very high A tier badge. I would say it's like definitely underneath Brick Wall though, and probably on the same level as Anchor if we're being honest. But anyway, moving along, Rebound Chaser. This is also going to be A tier. You could debatably put this in S. It's just you don't really need it on Hall of Fame to really make a huge difference. I would even argue on silver it even still looks good for that matter too. So Rebound Chaser is obviously a very important one when it comes to this game is extremely important to get rebounds in. Like, people have a hard time shooting the ball. It's very inside big oriented, and even if it's not inside big oriented, if you don't have one, you can bet you're probably playing against one pretty often. So like as far as you having good Rebound Chaser for the defensive rebound purposes, you really need it to counter these elite offensive rebounders that are going to be out on the court. They're on pick and rolls. They're crash and rebound like crazy. I've seen a lot of people that have come out with 99 defensive rebound builds in this 3v3 Pro-Am I've been playing with, and, you know, a bunch of pretty good teams as well. So as far as that, you know, like I said, Hall of Fame, gold, even silver, they all feel really good. Bronze, I don't know. I've played with bronze a little bit at the beginning of the game, and it was like pretty mid, to be honest. So I don't know. It was also my rebound ratings not being the greatest either, obviously, because, you know, they kind of go hand in hand for the most part. But yeah, I would say silver, gold, Rebound Chaser, they feel really good in Hall of Fame. I haven't seen Hall of Fame stand out. I'll put it like that. When I've played against other people that have 99 rebound builds on the D board, it doesn't feel like it's so crazy, you know? I'm like, oh well, I mean, like, it doesn't make a big difference. This is still a lot about positioning and the way your build can jump with the vert and the size that you have as well. So, anyway, into our next badge, we have Chasedown. We'll also be putting this in the A tier. So, Chasedown, you know, quite simply put, it's pretty good, and it's a lot better than it has been in years past. Chase down blocks feel good again. Vertical paired with speed, paired with block rating is what you need to get this badge, and you have all three of those rating combinations together. Gold chase down feels great. I can't even imagine what Hall of Fame feels like because I haven't even achieved that on a build yet, but boy, can I just imagine it would be insane. Every level of chase down feels better, like from what I've seen. From bronze to silver to gold, they all see a pretty visible increase, in my opinion, from a gameplay perspective of what I've experienced. And again, to be fair, I've played with builds that have really good vertical. Like my 7-footer has 83 vert, my 6'8 has 86 vert, and I actually just very recently, without telling you guys anything about the build yet, have made a 6'10 with 89 vertical, and that feels insane, bro. Like being able to jump out the gym like that. And it only has gold chase down again because the block rating's not high enough for the Hoff chase down, but it plays crazy, and I gotta show it a lot of love. But anyway, moving along, we have our first S tier badge. We got Immovable Enforcer. As I've mentioned to you guys, this feels like the God badge on defense. I mean, it feels like, to be fair here, let's put the other S tier badge up here as well. These two badges, if you just have a build that gets them on Hall of Fame, both of them, you got the most unstoppable lockdown build in the game. If you have decent Prim D, you'll be solid. Like, you could even probably, I would have to assume, make a build that has like 87 Prim D with like gold challenger, silver clamps, and like, I don't know. I don't even know what that gives you for 94 feet and fast feet or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure fast feet is tied to your acceleration. Either way, as far as like having these two badges on Hall of Fame, or even Gold Glove and Hall of Fame Immovable, or even Gold on both of them, you're looking at some amazing lock builds, bro. You are getting people completely stonewalled, and Lord knows, if you're standing still in this game and you're not moving away from that lock, bippity bopping, hopping left and right, and like running away from him, if you're standing right in front of him and you're about to do a dribble move, it's about to be death for you, my boy. You are not gonna have a good time in this game standing still. Like, standing still is not the move at all. And again, Immovable helps you stop people from that movement. So Immovable Enforcer, whether it's for setting up plucks or to just completely stop people in their tracks and get really good bumps that make people lose their adrenaline on offense, you're looking at the two best defensive badges in the game. Arguably, the two best badges in the game, period, in my opinion. Like, offense feels very limited in terms of overpowered badges, per se. Like, Speed Booster doesn't feel so unbelievably godly. Limitless range is super limited in this game. Posterizer and, you know, precision dunker and slithery and all that stuff, the finishing doesn't feel super crazy either. So badges that we've seen as some of the best top tier badges in previous games, they don't feel so crazy good anymore. But the defensive ones are insane, bro. Like, having A tier and S tier badges in this game go crazy. So anyway, I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit it on here. I'm sure we'll just, you know, resize them and stuff like that. But the last two badges, we have Boxout, Beast, and Interceptor. These will be our A tiers to round out the tier list video. So Interceptor, I will say the value of this badge at every level that you get it higher, you can absolutely feel the increase. Like, you need to have bronze to play decent passing lanes in this game. With that 60 steel bronze Interceptor, that's like the baseline, in my opinion. If you don't even have that, I suggest don't even touch your X button off ball. I mean, it feels useless, in my opinion, to be playing lanes with less than 60 steel. And I gotta say, you know, even though I'm vouching for like 60 as the baseline, bro, it looks terrible when people are trying to come out here and lane something with 60 steel. Like, most times if you have 60 steel, you're probably a bigger build and you're most likely able to play for chase down blocks and just like play for interior defensive purposes. Again, mashing is not good. You can get position, and playing a lane takes you out of position most times. So to do that with bronze does not look good. But I will say, the ability that people will have with like Gold and Hall of Fame Interceptor looks insane. Like, I've seen some godly lanes with it. I've seen some good lanes even with like the bronze and silver, as I've mentioned. But Gold and Hall of Fame look ridiculous in this game. And I gotta say, it's probably more of like a mid-tier, A tier, something like that. But it's definitely still a good badge, 100%. Boxout Beast goes in the same breath as Rebound Chaser, even though low-key I actually think Boxout Beast might be better than Rebound Chaser. I don't know, that's a bold thing to say. Let me maybe like pause on that for a second. I'm trying to think personally on how I feel about these two badges in terms of which is better, because Boxout Beast gives some unreal worm animations pairing that with the strength that you're going to have with a lot of these builds when you have the Boxout Beast. And Rebound Chaser obviously will give you the better jumps on them, so it's very hard to say. They kind of go hand in hand. You kind of need them both as far as being an elite rebounder, but to me, Boxout Beast does more than Rebound Chaser. I mean, the worms are actually insane that you get with them, and obviously you're going to need this to counter other people's Boxout Beast on the worms in terms of you getting the good Boxouts on them. So in my mind, boxout beast is just a tad bit higher than rebound chaser, because you also, in my opinion, need to double crash, triple crash rebound in this game if you're talking 5s, double crash on 3s, in my opinion. I think it's a very limited fast break game because you need to send a lot of bodies at the rebounds. So when you can land that box out on the one lethal rebound threat that they have on the team, who maybe has like, 93 offensive rebound, like most people do as an inside center, to land a really clean, good box out on him and let someone else just get that rebound for free feels really good in this game. So definitely a game of a lot of double and triple crash for sure ensuing us. But anyway, that is all for the tier list. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try this one to 2,000 likes. If it's the end of the video, put defense or put D in the comments, so sports my way through. And hey, if you're watching this video pretty late in the year, feel free to tune in to maybe a newer one. I guess low-key, there's no way they'd make it to the end of the video if you're watching this 5 months later. But if you are, by some chance, looking for future videos of this, we will be keeping you guys updated. If you want to check that out, absolutely feel free to. And if you want to check out the finishing, playmaking, or shooting that we're going to do for this, stay tuned for that. I'm sure we're going to be usually uploading those daily, like as in one day, then the next day, then the next day, then the next day. And then we'll resume different content after the tier list videos. But I highly assume we're going to be doing the finishing after this one. Boy, do I not even want to know what that's going to look like, to be honest with you guys. I haven't really made the tier list videos yet, but I'm already assuming these finishing tier lists are going to look really weird in comparison to what we've seen before, because dunking is looking down bad and layups are looking up good. So it's going to be a weird one, really weird one. But anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.